It was only after the 1960s that these linkages were identified, with the recognition that much of global technological progress was directed to meet the needs of the global rich and was best suited to operation in high-income environments. The development and diffusion of appropriate technologies was an agenda largely pursued by the not-for-profit appropriate technology movement. However, with the global diffusion of innovative capabilities and the rapid rise of incomes of the very poor, the second bottom billion, innovation for the poor and innovation appropriate for production in low-wage and poor infrastructure environments has increasingly become an arena for profitable production. The very large size of China and India, coupled with their growing technological capabilities and the rapid growth of low incomes, makes it likely that they will become the dominant sources of innovation for the poor, end quote. In other words, so long and thanks for all the fish. But basically, we can teach our own people to fish from now on, thank you very much. This speaks to why drawdown solution number 6 is educating girls, and drawdown number 62 is women smallholders. After all, that is the other 50% right there. East, west, north, south. When we give women the chance to design for themselves, they have certainly proven they don't need men to do things for them. And they, as Bunker Roy showed us at Barefoot College, can do an awful lot to help men and everybody who matters to them, their families, their villages, their towns, cities, and societies. Schumacher and those who followed him into political ecology and political economy, as if people mattered, recognized that what was most appropriate was that everyone had a stake and was given the dignity to make their own contribution. The primary directive is ethical. Do no harm. Respect one another. Respect all life. Do unto others. The golden rule. Apply those, and the rest of the drawdown solutions actually just follow logically. Liberated to think for ourselves, to think both inside the box and outside the box, to expand our boxes to include not just the other 90%, not just the 100% of humanity, but 100% of all living symbiotic co-evolving beings. We got this. It's what nature with a capital N, nature that includes human nature and all non-human natures, does. It's tempting to think we richer, better, educated, more politically powerful humans can invent or policy make our way out of climate change, but without considering the mentality that led us to dependency on the destructive and polluting technologies and techniques and socio-political and economic structures that caused it, would be a blunder. As Einstein so famously warned us, we can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. The article on Schumacher that I'm reading from, published by the Center for New Economics on Buddhist Economics by Robert Leonard, a professor of history at the University of Quebec, shows how the Eastern perspective, really a Buddhist perspective devoid of the global North's interpretation of Genesis positing a God who encourages humanity to feel separate from and subdue and dominate nature while thinking only of his own multiplication, has informed postmodern, post-colonial sustainability thought and a new economic thought at the same time Schumacher repudiated fossil fuels in the 1960s and 70s, and can continue to do so now when we all have to get rid of them stat. He writes, quote, although Schumacher did not become a Buddhist himself, his experience among Buddhists opened up the spiritual vista that shaped his economic thinking thereafter. The essential idea was simple and had already been stated by Gandhi, for whom Schumacher had the greatest admiration. It was also implicit in the work of others he read carefully, including Jacques Maritain and traditionalist writers René Guénon, Fritjof Schuon, and Ananda Kumaraswamy. It said that humans must restrain their economic appetites by some combination of ethical or spiritual beliefs, or some form of humility, failing which they would eventually strip the world of its resources and natural beauty. Many are reaching a similar conclusion today. My article shows how Schumacher was led to it some 70 years ago, end quote. By going through this course, it is hoped that you are also ready, like the acolyte in the 70s television show Kung Fu, to snatch the pebble of enlightenment from our hands and begin the deeper journey towards liberation ecology and an economics as if people and other beings mattered. You are now knighted a fellow liberator of those salutary ecologies that are going to literally save our planet. freeing the forces of human and non-human nature to work together toward sustainability. Welcome aboard. Your journey doesn't end with the conclusion of this introduction to the political ecology of climate change mitigation and adaptation and drawdown solutions. Your journey of 1,000 steps begins with this first step that you've taken. Your journey begins here. So go east this time, young woman, and don't stop. Wherever you happen to be on Earth right now, do as the Beatles song suggests and follow the sun. On a spherical planet, what goes around comes around, and if we're smart about it, it will be in a good way. Look always toward the sunrise and move steadily toward that horizon, toward the dawn of a new era. Go to the light. That way lies not just climate mitigation and adaptation, but true sustainability, with liberty and justice for all.